Hello and welcome to Colleague 7 Sprint Review for 18.07.01. This will cover the work undertaken between the 26th of June to the 9th of July. Starting with the sprint goal, and for this sprint our objective was to update the skill criteria area with additional functionality and deliver some bug fixing based on client demand. Looking at the high level items and to explain further, in this sprint we've been able to introduce an option whereby you can select either to search by skill code or skill description when your skill criteria is searching. This is to accommodate instances where you have essentially the same skill in multiple locations in your skills library. What you can now do is find any instance of that skill based on its name. There was also an issue in relation to undertaking a not skill search on its own. The logic within this feature previously relied on there being a positive search criteria option first before you can filter with the not command. This work was started and is all but finished, but the final solution hasn't made the release in time, so it will be carried over into the next sprint. Again, sticking with the skills area, there was an indent issue that would result in skills appearing as if they were part of a different skill parent. This has also now been resolved. We've added the address fields to the list of fields which can be assigned as mandatory. We've resolved a bug to ensure that images within email signatures stay within the email body and do not appear as attachments when they're sent. And as a minor point, we've added a button that sits alongside the website field on the company record, which when pressed will open up a new tab taking you to that website. We'll now go through a brief demonstration on the key features from this sprint. Okay, so the first point to cover, and it's really the main component of the sprint, relates to the skill criteria area in the search. So this is against all entities, against the search criteria section of the search. What we've added now in is an option where you can search by skill code or skill description. So what that's meant is obviously within your skills library you're going to have instances of a skill being part of that skill parent, but that skill may also be present against another skill parent. So as an example, if I was to type in account manager here, we're going to see multiple examples of the account manager skill being applied, but it's obviously been set against different skill parents. Now, as the skill search has previously been up till now, you could only search on that one skill when searching across, say, all candidates. You're looking for that one skill against all candidates. And what the requirement that we were being requested to deliver on was the means to be able to search by a skill, but also be able to factor in all the other skills they're in this skills library that obviously match that skill name. So what you can now do, if we add that there, you've obviously got a situation now where you're searching on this account manager. It's found 4 results, but we're searching by skill code because we're searching just that account manager skill against the system. We switch that to skill description, and now we're factoring in all of the account managers in the system, and it's obviously found 69 results there as difference. If there's any ambiguity in terms of what the difference is between skill code and skill description, if you hover over this tool, label, you'll see a tooltip appear which just explains the difference between the two, but hopefully that's self-explanatory. And if you want to have a preference on whether or not it's skill code or skill description by default in terms of what you're searching by, that's a user setting that you can set against your user account in terms of what the default setting is there. So that's the key update that we made as part of this sprint. Okay, so the next point to cover just relates to the fact that now address fields are included as part of the mandatory fields set when you're viewing records and you're assigning obviously mandatory fields. So obviously within the admin area you have a mandatory fields section within here, and what you'll see is that you've now got address fields that are included within the mandatory fields set. So we're against the candidate entity here. What I'll do is I'll assign postcode to be a mandatory field, and there you can see now postcode is part of that selected fields area. If we go now to a candidate record, and if I just refresh that, if we go to a candidate record that I know to obviously not contain a postcode, what you'll see when you're within the candidate record, if the address fields fail to match on the mandatory settings, then you're going to see the address highlighted with this red bordering around the address box, and then when you click on the address, it's obviously going to show you which field is missing, and obviously that it's a mandatory field. So this is obviously a scenario against a candidate record where you're looking to essentially just advise. Sorry, there we go. And then that's gone after that, where you're basically looking to ensure that the user is aware when they go into a record that an address field is missing mandatory data. But this also comes into play with new records as well. When you're creating new records, address fields that have obviously been assigned with mandatory field setting will come through, and you won't be able to create a record without that mandatory field being set in the instance of creating new records. So for existing records, it will work as you just saw. We're just advising you with notifications and prompts that this is a mandatory field, it's missing data. But for new records, you've obviously got the mandatory asterisk that will be applied, and that will prevent someone from physically being able to create the record unless they've assigned that address field. And this is obviously against the candidate, the company, and the contact entity in terms of assigning addresses relating to those entity records. But that's the update we've made here. The last point to cover just relates to the website field on the company record. So this is in a similar format to the click to dial options that have been added. We've put a button here against the website field so that if you wish to view this website, you can just click this button and it will launch the website in a different tab. No more complicated than that, really. The contents of this website field will be populated into a new tab on clicking this button. There's another option that's available off documents as well. So if you have a URL as a file there, it's obviously not something that can be previewed, but the URL option obviously again has a button here. You can just click that and it'll open up a new tab, just allowing you to go to that URL location. So the main component basically is of this website field there, but basically where there's a URL option, you'd have a button to click on it to open up that website in the new tab, and that's the update we've made there. As always, if you have any queries or feedback, please get in touch. I'll be keen to hear from you. Also, for those using Colleague 7, feel free to submit your enhancement requests via the support team or directly to me using the above email address. The next video will be the sprint plan for 18.07.02. And as always, that will contain a high-level overview on the items we intend to work on during that sprint. Thanks for watching.